Peace to the gods, peace to the earth, and peace to all of the righteous families of the planet. I'm here with one of my good brothers, you know, one of my God brothers. I ain't been with the God in a minute.
Word.
You know, I've been supposed that came over to holler at the God, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, I've been, pardon self, Lord, I've been busy running and, you know what I'm saying? I got this, you know, the battle stuff going on and music and
y'all going through, you know, I've been going through mad hell, you know what I mean? So, you know, struggles and stuff, you know, so.
Yeah, definitely. But the God, you know, tell everybody your name.
Yo, God U-Decipher Allah.
U-Decipher Allah. We originally from?
Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
Came to the knowledge itself and wisdom years. You know what I mean? So, it's been a minute.
Yeah, I know when we first met, you know, we was building and just sharing a little bit of history. And I know when the God told me, he was like, yeah, I got knowledge and da-da-da-da-da. And, you know, when it was like automatically, boom, it clicked. But, you know, I never really got a chance to, like, dialogue with the God and build. So, you know what I'm saying? I was just like, yo, let me come through and, you know what I mean? But, yeah, God, yeah, me, myself, I got knowledge, too. You know, just, I guess we just, you know, basically, you know, each other. I got knowledge back in like 95, 96, give or take. You know, I started off with the Nation of Gods and Earths when I was incarcerated in Richmond, Virginia. I got knowledge with those brothers first. And then maybe about 3-4 years later, I kind of moved on to, you know, Nation of Islam teachings or whatever. You know, which technically they're both the same anyway, if you understand, you know, we talked about that. But I kind of advanced on to that, you know what I'm saying, after about 3 to 4 years of studying. But I'm kind of well-rounded because I studied with the Hebrew Israelite brothers, you know, Moors, you know, like just different groups, you know what I'm saying. And then when I was locked up, when I did my federal bid, like 2004, 5, I pretty much went into an in-depth study of pretty much all of the different religions and groups.
People, you don't understand that's where it comes from. To have the knowledge itself, you have to attain knowledge. You know what I mean? And to build with likes and build likes is what you have to do. You don't just sit there and say, confine yourself to, you know, 4 walls and say, this is what it is, because that is not just what it is.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's plus degrees out there. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
You gotta, you know, attain more knowledge. You know what I mean? Because it's there for you to grasp.
True indeed. What attracted you to the 5% of teachings? Like, you know what I'm saying? And what were you before you was a 5%er?
Before I was 5%er, I was pretty much in just like limbo. Being bounced around from home to home, growing up as a youth, you know, leaving, you know, New York, living in Chicago, living in Nashville, you know what I mean? Even that roots from down south. But I knew it wasn't for me being in the church because I knew it was too contradictory of the baptism stuff and all that stuff was so contradictory, and I just knew it was something just wasn't right. You know what I mean?
I always had that feeling too when I was in church, you know. I was in the Baptist church, you know what I'm saying? And I always just felt like something's not right here. Something's not right with this. So the 5%ers pretty much attracted you to the knowledge. And how did you feel when you first heard the black man is God, you know?
Having, you know, just like they say, all you need to do is put in, you know, the Woo album, you know what I mean? You get that enlightenment, and it just like, it was like everything that was said was just straight up peace. You know, the guys was teaching at a barbershop back in Virginia Beach.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you know, one of my, you know, my enlighteners, the guy Trust Allah, was like, nah, you know, you've been listening to the Woo, you know what I'm saying? But that don't, you know, everybody want to just jump in just because they hear this, but they don't know if they really want that.
Right.
He said, so, you know what I'm saying, get back at me later on. You know what I'm saying? When you think you're really ready for this.
Think you ready,
You know what I mean?
So the next time the God bless you.
True indeed.
Yeah. When you first got knowledge yourself, because this is something that, you know, me and a couple of the gods and, you know, Black God Ra, we was discussing as well about, you know, just a particular protocol when someone comes and say, hey, I want to learn more about this culture, this 5% culture. what were some of the steps, you know what I'm saying, that your enlighteners, you know, led you toward? Like, for instance, like me, I got knowledge of self, I got my supreme mathematics, and then I had to, you know, read certain books and certain, you know, just to come back and quote. And what was the process like for you when you first got enlightened?
Same way, God, you know, he wanted to see, you know, even though I came back to the God, he still wanted to feed me little bit by little bit, but it wasn't enough. When he saw that it wasn't enough, you know, he was, you know, I got my supreme mathematics, you know, right off the back, that was it, you know. And then when I came back, when I was able to quote the supreme mathematics, he was like, man, you know, that's been like, you know, 2 days.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You know, so he said, okay, well, I see where you're going, you know, start playing, you know, giving me the flag and everything, started, you know, loading me up with everything. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I was hungry, on fire, writing notes, taking notes, you know, doing the science, you know, from the water, from the water, from the sun and everything, doing the mathematics and everything, because I was on fire for it. You know what I mean? And I wanted it.
Yeah, and back then, you know, like, and this was what, like in the 90s?
96.
96, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, around that time, it was real, you know, and you mentioned Wu-Tang. And, you know, it's crazy because, you know, like, after I, you know, got knowledge of self years, like, I grew up listening to Wu-Tang too. But it's like, after a while, you know, like, you start realizing, wait a minute, some of these cats ain't even 5%ers. You know, I think it's like a few of them, you know, that was, you know what I'm saying?
You got some of the guys trying to, like, Black Thought, you know,
Black Thought,
because I met Papa Wu, which really he ain't 5% either. But I met the guy, the chef, Raekwon, because I was cutting his earth hair.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You said Papa Wu wasn't a 5%er?
Nah,
for real?
Nah,
first time I ever heard that.
He's you know, like I said, there's a true 5% within the 5% too.
Ah.
You know what I mean? You got your bloodsuckers within too. So, you know, all about that money and trying to grasp things.
That's an actual fact.
I mean?
That's an actual fact. But I mean, you know, I don't know that, you know, but I'm just saying when you said that, it kind of brings a lot of understanding to certain things that I used to hear brothers in the Wu-Tang say. Like I said, before I had knowledge of self, I didn't know. I didn't know what them dudes was talking about.
Right.
But when I got the knowledge and I started listening to them, I was like, oh, okay, he talking about the such and such degree. Oh, okay, yeah, he just quoted something from the such and such degree. Where the hell he get that from? Who? Where? Where did the messenger say that? You know, like, you know what I'm saying? So now that you say that, it kind of, you know, brings a lot of things to mind, which really kind of rolls off into the next thing. You know, like we was talking about the, you know, and that's why I said I'm going to come through today so we could build or whatever, but we was talking about the OG Melchizedek. And, you know, he said in his statements, or he gave a testimony, you know, and on the Allah School of Mecca channel. And he said basically, like, I give out the lessons to whoever. You know, not whoever, but I give out the lessons, and I give out all of the lessons all at one time. During your course of getting knowledge of self, have you ever, you know, given the entire 120 to a student, or have you ever heard of anything like that?
Never have, God. You know, you have to see the growth, you know, because you got to also see, like, when I was teaching the young guy, well, you know, he is a young guy, but he still have the knowledge self, but he knows self,
right?
And he wanted everything at one time,
right.
Kind of got upset at me too,
right?
But I said, nah, God, it don't work like that. Yeah. I wasn't taught that way, and I haven't heard anybody else being taught that way. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna do it the way that it's been done.
Protocol, yeah. I mean, you know, and it's like when I heard that, it bugged me out because I'm like, wow. And the thing is, it was said from a place of, what's wrong? Like, I did it. Like, you know, like, don't get me wrong now, God. Now, I got a story too. You know, I'm not going to get all into the whole story, but to make a long story short, I gave a newborn one time. It was this Jamaican dude I met when I first came from New York down to Georgia. And, you know, he like, yeah, yo, Reggie, I want to get knowledge. Yeah, yo, you know, telling me he want to get knowledge and stuff. And I'm like, cool, you know, we building. And I had only had knowledge of self myself for maybe like 3-4 years, almost 4 years maybe. I gave the whole 120. Supreme alphabet, supreme math. the whole, you know, student enrollment, M.G.C, laws found 1 and 2, actual facts, solar facts. I seen the God like, and I didn't see him no more. I seen the God maybe like, it probably was like a few months later when I seen him and he's like, yo, you know, Selassie, I the rightful ruler, you know, it's like, he was just on some other, you know, and it's like, Elijah Muhammad, that was foolishness. All that stuff you gave me is foolish. Nah, man, it was foolishness. Yeah, because and I knew right then that's not how you do that. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad made a statement one time about Brother Malcolm X. After Malcolm kind of went, you know, astray, as we say, and start, you know, going to the East and seeing the white man as a Muslim, and he thought the white man is, you know, and he started to kind of doubt what the messenger was saying. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said one time, I'll never teach another minister the way I taught Brother Malcolm. So you could see that the messenger, there was some sort of, you know, like, not really resentment, you know, but there was some sort of, I learned a lesson from that experience of giving somebody the teachings in a certain manner. Not saying that the messenger gave him the whole 120, but the point I'm trying to make is that he saw something, a flaw in his teaching, right? So I'm listening to Brother Melchizedek, and even 45 years later, he's like, yeah, I gave him out.
Yo, God,
what? We all God. You know, and I'm just like sitting there like,
the same thing that you said is the same thing with the little young newborn God that I was piecing about. I gave him what was the book that the guy
Elijah Muhammad?
No, the guy from Brand Nubian. The book that he
Jamal, Lord Jamal.
Yeah, Lord Jamal. That book of wisdom that, you know, for the it was called what the book was called, but I bought that book.
Yeah, I forgot what it's called. I know you're talking about. It was called had the universal flag on it, I think.
True. But it had other pictures of other gods, little pictures of gods around it too.
Right.
But they also had, but it was saying a collection of wisdom from across the world, from different gods on earth.
Right.
And I gave that to him. I said, yo, read that, God. There's jewels in here within itself.
Right.
You know, just teachings of other gods on earth.
Right.
Read this also. You know.
Right.
And not only did I give him, you know, the supreme math and everything, but I didn't give him everything. But when I finally tried to catch up with him, when I caught up with him, and I'm you know, just to check up with him, see what's going on, because I ain't heard from him in a minute.
Yeah.
You know, nah, man, you know, I think I'm gonna stick with the teachings of Ra. You know what I mean? You know, I'm like, yeah. What's the name?
Amun-Ra, the Egyptian.
No, I'm sorry. What's the Jamaicans be doing?
Jah.
Jah, that's it.
Rastafari. Yeah, that was the same thing with this dude. Yeah.
I'm
like, oh, Selassie is the order of the deer.
Yeah, so
Rastaman, yo, and I'm like.
And I felt like, just off the little bit that I gave him, he was like, you want, and I gave him, I printed out copies, because he wasn't going to get, you know, my book, you know, the book. Right. But my book within itself, and he was like, I'm like, yo, so where you at, man? You know, so I'm trying to, you know, come get that book.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, oh, man, I can't even find it. So I felt, okay, yeah. So I'm like, all right, God, you stay up. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, you know, be peace and whatever, you know, your learnings and travels, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I got off the phone, like, dang. You know? You feel like.
I mean, you know, you see your mistakes, you know what I'm saying? I mean, one of the things is when we teach newborns, we're learning too. You know what I'm saying? You know the understanding to the lessons already, so you're not learning the understanding, but every individual that you teach, as a teacher or an enlightener, it's a learning experience for you, because you're getting to see where this student may be lacking and where I may be able to kind of, you know, give them a little push so that they can, you know, better understand or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, like I said, trial and error. And it just kind of bugged me out that somebody was doing that, giving the lessons out in that way, in that manner, and never saw no problem with it, even today. You know, that was just the only part. And, you know, I want to say too, it's like, nobody's disrespecting the God. We still love him as our elder and our brother. I was going to put that disclaimer out there because a lot of times when people hear the gods going at each other, oh, niggas going to start killing. Niggas going to start getting murked. Oh, niggas going to get the God you now. Yo. We are scientists. We're not ignorant people. So when I say that the God is in question, I'm talking about his credibility with these teachings, with these lessons. As a man, I still respect OG Melchizedek. So I just want to put that out there, right? You know, as a disclaimer. You know what I'm saying? You know, everybody has to show and prove. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing I learned. And the scriptures also teach us that what was hidden from the old will be revealed to the youth. So therefore, we're not out of line if we ask an elder, yo, wait a minute, I don't understand that, what you just said. Could you kind of break that down or elaborate a little bit more into that? You know, we're not out of line by doing that because really that's what we're supposed to be doing according to our teachings. You know what I'm saying? As far as in the lessons, you know, the question is asked, you know, who's the 5%? And again, there's been a lot of, you know, talk going around and stuff. And, you know, one of the things that we say, like in our lessons, is that these are like Muslim lessons. Basically, because the whole thing, you see Islam, you see Muhammad, you see so much Islamic stuff in there. When you first got your lessons, did you think that a 5%er had something to do with being a Muslim? Or was it something completely different? Or what was your thoughts on that?
It wasn't that. It was some kind of like I would say like it wasn't clarification, you know, and I was kind of like my lessons. But I said these lessons. I'm reading these lessons. Are we Muslims, you know, or what? And then, you know, then my lightning come to me and he says, "Yo, God," he said, "No, we're not Muslims." He said, "But his given name is Muslim."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's Muslim, but he is 5%.
Right.
And then he says, "Let me ask you something, God. Do you believe in the spook in the sky?" I said, "Nah, God." I said, "The lesson don't teach that." He said, "That's peace." He said, "But," he said, "the more knowledge you attain," he said, you're going to learn that the God walks amongst us." I was like, and I didn't get that. I said, "Well, how you see that?" He said, "You ain't ready for that yet." And I was like, "Okay, God." I'm like, I kept studying.
Right. Yeah.
So still, you know, family members and everybody were, "Oh, you don't believe in Jesus Christ?" "Oh, I do believe in Jesus Christ."
Yeah.
True indeed. He was a great prophet.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but that's good. That's jumping off the subject. But as I met other Muslims in stores or whatever the case may be, and I was like, you know, peace. You know, peace to you. You know, peace. You know, how you living? You know what I'm saying? And then the one said to me, I said, "Yeah, we all are Muslims." And he was like, he said, "You know what? You're one of the first and few gods that I met that actually admit that." And I said, "You know," I said, "our teachings," I said, "you look at it, you study our teachings, stop looking at it as trying to be you know, the number within the, you know, within the math itself. You gotta actually have a true understanding." You know, because it's there for you.
Yeah, it's the understanding basically. And I mean, in the degree, at the end of that degree, you know, who is the 5%? It tells you also Muslims and Muslim sons. So it's already they're included in that. But you know, I get with some of these dudes online and they're like, "Oh, yo, I don't see the word Muslim God written like that. Why is it not like that?" You know, it's like the other day I told a brother, I said, it's not written like that in the lessons, Muslim God. It's not, but the lessons are teaching you to be a God, and it's telling you that your own self, your nature, is a righteous Muslim. But the messenger mentioned it like that, Muslim God. He mentioned it like that in several of his writings. So I told him, I said, "Okay, you want to play games? Show me nation of gods and earths in the lessons. Why do we call ourselves the nation of God? Show me that in the lessons. Show me in the lessons where the black woman is an earth. Show me in the lessons I God, where it says I God." Now he want to get a brain. He want to grow a brain and be like, oh, well, you see, we're the nation of gods of earth because we're gods and da-da-da-da-da. And then the messenger in his book called, referred to the woman as a field and, to plant your seed. And so that's why we call her earth. And he wants to build now. But when I tell you, no, Muslim God is not in the lessons written like that, but it's teaching you to be a Muslim and it's teaching you to be a God. Oh, I don't see the word Muslim God, so it ain't there. We're not Muslim gods.
And if you guys can gather from just what he just said, it doesn't mean that he have to actually say Muslim gods.
Right.
And just because he mentioned it once.
Right.
Okay? But the lessons teach you.
That's right.
Okay?
Yeah. We forget about Elijah Muhammad's word for God. Elijah Muhammad used the word Muslim in the place of God because when we study our lessons, the messenger says the white man is a God and the black man is a God. The white man is the God of wickedness and evil. The black man is the God of righteousness. They both can be gods, just like they both can be 5%ers. But one's nature is the son of a Muslim and the other one's nature is the Muslim God, the one who's in control. Likewise, it's the same way. Brothers is just using the Arabic religious definition of Muslim. Oh, Muslim is one who submits to Allah. Oh, Allah is God, so we don't got to submit to nobody. You breathe air, don't you? You got to eat, don't you? Like when the body is calling for food, you got to submit to that calling at some point. Am I right or wrong? Like, we don't submit to nothing. Yeah. You go out there, you stop at the red lights, don't you? When the light turn red or whatever, you got to stop. Oh, well, yeah. Well, that's the white man's law. You got to submit to that law. If you don't, he got something in place for you if you don't want to submit to his laws. He got a place for you. You know what I'm saying? So, Allah means the God anyway in English when you translate it. It only means the God. So, you know what I'm saying? We use that word God, but at the end of the day, Muslim is the name that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave for his gods, righteous gods. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, God, like I said, man, we got to get together, do some more bills. Like I said, I ain't gonna hold you too long. I know the God got to make moves and whatnot. Just for the newborns, man, just tell the newborns something good, man, or whatever. Just leave us with a good word. How brothers should be studying and how brothers should be. You know what I'm saying?
For the newborns, the newborns, while you hungry, you on fire, gotta dig in, study daily. It ain't nothing that you should put to the side to say that and just hold a title. Dig in daily, attain that knowledge. For the next time when there's not you don't have that opportunity. Right. Is in here. Right. Exactly. You know what I mean?
Once you have the understanding, nobody could take that from you. You know what I'm saying? This is like how my mother used to say when I was like, get your education, because once you get that, nobody can take that from you. Well, likewise, get knowledge yourself or get your, understand your lessons, gain an understanding, because once you do, nobody can take that away from you.
That's what the God Trust told me. He said, it's going to be a time where this is not going to be allowed. Yeah. They're not going to allow us to have this, God.
True indeed, God.
They're not going to allow us to have this. So true this indeed. Is the reason why you have to study.
Yeah. Hey, the God Book of Life, you know what I'm saying? I'm just looking at it, you know what I mean? How, you know what I mean? Like, you've been in this thing studying. It look like just, you can tell when something is like worn, like you've been touching it.
I need to get back into it too, though. You know what I mean?
True indeed.
Gotta get back in.
True indeed, man. But at the end of the day, this is a teacher-student channel, so whenever you want to build on a degree or you want to do a presentation or whatever, God, just feel free. You know what I'm saying? Just hit me up and, you know what I mean? I'll come through. Definitely, man. So this is the M.G.C network. We are going to get back with y'all at a later date. I'm here building with the God U-Decipher. U-Decipher Allah. It's Brother Daysun, Brother Fahiym. We love y'all, man. Y'all stay up, stay in y'all studies. Peace to the gods, peace to the earths, and all of the righteous families of the planet. Peace.